I'm going to review tomorrow's severe weather threat. Excuse me. Got a lot on my mind here with the weather and looking over some of the models for tomorrow's event, right? Our area of interest, if you remember, is, at least for storm tornadoes, is centered, at least right now, in central Illinois to Dubuque, Michigan, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. That's towards Joliet, with the potential for EF2 tornadoes here. EF3, you see the striped line here. EF3 plus, slight risk, meaning 10% tornado risk within 25 miles of a given location. Now they're going to come out with an update in a few hours here. And I'm reviewing some of the model guidance and we'll see what changes they make here. Outside of that, you have this 5% tornado risk in the stippled region, right? And then you have a 2% tornado risk outside of that, which is not stippled or marked in any way. So potential is just there for, you know, less than EF2 probably. So at least that's the regional max intensity. Now, looking at the wind threat for tomorrow, we have a large 45% wind risk, anywhere from Illinois to Indiana, parts of most of Illinois, actually, parts of Indiana, parts of Kentucky, Tennessee, northeastern Arkansas, southeastern Missouri, a sliver of Wisconsin here, a larger 30% risk encompassing that, a larger 15% risk even further out, and the 2%, 5%, excuse me, for even further out than Mississippi, Ohio, Wisconsin, a large area here. So what does that mean? Anywhere within this purple area, magenta, I guess you would call it, you could have near around 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts within 25 miles of a given location. So it's a pretty high probabilities for tomorrow's outlook for the wind. Now we look at hail. The hail risk a little bit further to the west here, probably due to some steep elapse rates and drier air aloft, maybe a dry line or some some leftover EML, in elevated mixed layer, providing for some dry air aloft here. So if you go back and look at the tornado risk further to the east, wind risk as well, the hail risk is further to the west here. Stippled region indicates 2-inch in diameter hail anywhere within 25 miles of a given location. And you have this 30% hail risk, 15, and then there's 5. And outside of that, you could get 1-inch hailstones, okay? Doesn't mean you won't get 2-inch hailstones, but the coverage will be less as you get further out here, the percentage wise, right? So this is where you expect the most coverage for hail. Pretty sharp cutoff here to the east. So going back to the upper levels here, you have the 250 millibar upper level map here. You see these higher wind speeds, the upper level jet streaming this way, and then it sharply curves to the left here. You have some negative tilt here and divergence aloft. Let me draw on this. You see the winds coming in this way and going up this way and that way, going out here like this, going like that, going like this and like that, here, here, divergence right here. Now I did a couple of soundings from this area here, all right? And if we go over to one of the soundings, which shows the different levels of the atmosphere here, this shows where the sounding was taken, okay? And you show, this is a little bit contaminated with some storms moving through, right? So I'm going to move it back one run here. Still contaminated some. However, the parameter space is pretty incredible here regardless. Okay. I can't help that it's a little contaminated, but I took another sounding a little bit further to the east that I'll show you as well. Look at these parameter spaces here. 3 Cape, 106. Surface base Cape, 3,600 joules per kilogram. All right, the significant tornado parameter values are almost off the charts here. Okay, effective shear 64. Lapse rates are relatively steep here as well. Okay, you see this curvature here. I know it comes back on itself, so you may have some storms that are not that photogenic here. But initially, the updraft is kind of out off of itself, but it kind of reverses course at the upper levels and weakens some here. So, but again, very impressive parameter space here. In the lifted condensation level, the level for convection is close to the surface. Okay, so that's that one location. With this other location here, a little bit further east, I'll show on the map right here. All right, so it's hard to see on the map exactly where this is, but you get the idea, right? I trying to look at the state here. All right, so take that off. Look at the photograph here and the meter square per second squared, the helicity values. Almost 600 meters squared per second squared. Incredible. Look at the STP values. Off the charts here. Incredible values here. That tells me the parameter space in this area is ripe for severe weather. Okay, just if you look at this, okay. You know, when you see these kind of profiles, there's some other things we're going to look at, and you can see the level of free convection is a little bit, like the cape is a little bit skinny here. The LCL is pretty low, but there's some difference here between the LCL and LFC, so we'll have to see if that parameter space gets any better. Let's move forward with one sounding here. Not much change here, and you have some contamination here now, but still, and the winds are kind of more out of the southwest at this point, less curvature, although parameter space is still incredible here. And the D cape, which is downdraft cape, also lends itself to some really significant wind gusts as well. All right, so pretty significant event here. And one of the reasons I want to get deeper into this is because I was looking at the latest, some other stuff, and it seemed like the tornado probabilities were going down, but I don't know. Looking at this, outside of anything else, I would say it's still very possible here. And if you look at the perimeter space a little bit closer, 500 millibars, right? You have this just this drastic change here at 250 millibars with the flow, right? You go to 500 millibars. Look at this enhanced 500 millibar jet streak moving through here. Very fast winds aloft here. 85 knots moving through there, right? Jet streak moves out. Then the severe weather goes away. So very impressive parameter space here. So let's go to 700 millibars, which is close to the surface. This is roughly Monday afternoon, okay? Pretty impressive there. Now let's go to the surface, okay? Let's go to dew points. All right, so let's look at our parameter space again. There's our tornado interest here. Wind is further to the south. Tornado a little bit further to the north with the highest probabilities in Illinois here. So Illinois into, you see dew points initially surged 70s from the NAM forecast to surge northward here. Pretty impressive here. 60, 70-degree dew points is more than sufficient for severe weather, although they kind of get cut off as the cold front overtakes the moisture here. But before that happens, especially down here, you have this parameter space that's very moist, all right? So let's zoom out a little bit. Now we can see with these dew points, it's surging upwards here. Plenty of moisture here going up into the pretty broad warm sector as well. I know this is kind of cut off. Let me move this over. All right, so there we go. Broad warm sector ends up getting cut off eventually. Then we move into the next day as the severe potential moves to the south and east. All right, so I'm pretty confident at this point that we still have a good possibility of tornadoes. I kind of wonder if the threat may move further to the south here. I'm going to take a couple more sounding further north here and see what this space here. Yeah, so even here, the parameter space is incredible. All right, LFC and LCL are close together. 3K 64, effective shear. You still have this wonky photograph here, okay, with maybe some rainfall falling back into the system here. I can't help but wonder if that may hinder some convection, but we'll see, right? Very strong low-level shear here. It just weakens at some point up here at the top, right? So going back, you see where this is on the map. So I'm pretty confident with the tornado threat. I know that's all we talk about, but you know, all I've talked about, right? But the printer space is also there for significant hail to the west and gusty winds, 50 knots or greater, right? But tornadoes are what's talked about the most, and that impacts people's lives directly if it hits their house. So that's why I'm focused on that today for tomorrow's outlook. I'm going to continue to monitor the situation and look it over some more and do a more detailed analysis again tomorrow. But right now, I'm on board with what the SPC has to say, and we'll see what happens. So if you live in this area, stay tuned for forecasts and heed your local warnings and listen to your National Weather Service offices, as they have the best information on a timely basis for this kind of stuff. Have multiple ways to get warnings. Either don't rely on sirens. You can sign up for weather alerts on your phone, and that's free, right? You can also sign up with different companies to get weather alerts sent to you. So on your phone or personal device, right? You can also watch Ryan Hall's or the Max Velocity when they're live. That can help you as well. So there's multiple ways to receive alerts and weather radio. So be safe out there. Talk to y'all tomorrow. God bless y'all.